Hey there, welcome to the Millennial Book Junkie. My name is Monique, your millennial host, and today we're going to be talking about all the horror and thriller books that are due to come out in 2025. I am so excited about these books. I have been seeing all these new thrillers, new horrors being announced on Instagram by authors that I love, and if you are a horror or thriller reader, you probably have heard some yourself. So today I'm going to be sharing a bunch of books coming out next year. If you are a horror or thriller reader, you probably know most, if not all of these authors and books coming out, but it's just nice to have them all in one place with the dates so that you can put them on your calendar and be ready to pre-order and read them as soon as they come out. All that being said, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. We are now in the end of December, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a wonderful holiday all the same. And as you can see, I am not in my normal spots. I am here in my living room with my Christmas tree and the presents that I have yet to give people still, and my Yule log on the TV, helping me feel like there's a fire by me. It's wonderful. And I've got my tea, and I'm ready to talk about all the books that are coming out this year. Let's go. The first book that's coming out next year is by the one and only Grady Hendrix. It's called Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. It's coming out January 14th, 2025. If you don't know Grady Hendrix, he's the one that wrote The Final Girl Support Group. It is a book that I actually DNF'd on accident. I just was not in the mood to read, but I'm definitely going to get back to it. In Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, it is about 4 young women who are sent to Wellwood House in the 1970s because they are pregnant. And at this place, they go there and they have their babies. They're too young to be mothers according to society. And so they go to this place and they have their babies and they give their babies up for adoption. So these 4 women go to this somewhat oppressive environment and they're pregnant, and they come into contact with this librarian that works at Wellwood House who introduces them to witchcraft and offers them this ability to cast spells. But of course, this comes with a price, and they end up getting some forbidden powers, and I feel like it's just gonna be a lot of rebellion and magic and mysticism, and I feel like this is gonna be really, really good. So that's Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, coming out January 14th, 2025 by Grady Hendrix. The next thriller that's coming out in January is The Crash by none other than Frida McFadden. This one is coming out January 28th, 2025, and it also deals with a pregnant woman, a young woman named Tegan who is 8 months pregnant. She finds herself stranded in a blizzard, and a couple takes her in while she's, so close to giving birth, and they offer her a kind of safe haven. But as the days pass, she of course realizes this safe haven is none other than a trap, and she tries to escape. So this one seems really interesting. I read my first Frida McFadden this year, The Housemaid, so I'm not too familiar with her work. I've only read one of her books. I did enjoy The Housemaid, and I'm looking forward to this because I've actually had this idea that a young woman is about to give birth and she takes solace with a couple who has sinister motives. That is something that I've actually had as an idea for a book. So it's really cool that Frida McFadden is like having the same ideas as me. Pretty cool. So I'm excited to see what this one is about and how it comes to fruition in the book. I'm excited to pick it up. Like I said, I've only read one Frida book, but let's see how this one comes out. I don't know. And I also want to read The Housemaid's Secret, or whatever the second book is in that series. And I just want to read a little bit more Frida McFadden and get an idea for, what she's like. So this one looks good. The next book coming out in 2025 is a book by Lisa Unger called Close Your Eyes and Count to 10. It comes out February 18th, 2025. This thriller is about a deadly game of hide and seek on a stormy island. What starts as a social media stunt turns into a fight for survival as the contestants basically try to survive against some unseen threat. And it looks like it centers around a single mom, Adele, who of course is trying to stay alive and make it back home to her kids. I personally have not read any Lisa Unger, but I hear about her all the time, And so that's why I wanted to include this in this roundup, because I really want to read Lisa Unger. So I'm really excited that she's coming out with a new book. I'll either read that one or I'll read one of her other ones, but either way, I'm really excited. The next book coming out in 2025 is The Unworthy by Augustina Bastarrica. It comes out March 4th, 2025. And if you watched my last couple videos, you know that I just read Augustina's first book, Tender is the Flesh. It freaked me out. It was terrifying. It was horrific, but I partially enjoyed it. So I'm excited to read this one, which is about a woman trapped in a brutal religious convent while the outside world crumbles from climate disasters. It's another dystopian horror, and I'm really, really excited about it because I feel like Bastarrica is an author who takes events that could happen and like escalates them. So I'm really excited about this one. Let's just hope I'm a little less traumatized by the end of this one. Once again, that's The Unworthy, and it comes out in March of 2025. The next book coming out in March of 2025 is by Erica T. Worth, and it is called The Haunting of Room 904. This is another horror / thriller. It comes out on March 18th. It's about a woman named Olivia who is a paranormal investigator, and she has this ability to communicate with the dead. But when a series of mysterious deaths occur at a hotel, she is basically led in on this journey of betrayal, cults, dark secrets, all kinds of weird stuff. And I feel like when you have the ability to communicate with the dead, all kinds of cool stuff happens. And so I'm excited about this one. I have also not read any Erica T. Worth, but I saw her on Instagram promoting this book and it just looked really good. So I'm adding it to my TBR. Once again, that comes out in March 2025 on March 18th. The next book that comes out in 2025 that I'm really excited about is called The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. This book comes out April 29th. I actually just randomly saw that this book was coming out on Amazon. I have never heard of this author, Chuck Wendig, but the cover was really cool looking and the synopsis of the book just grabbed me. So this is something that I'm definitely looking forward to in 2025. It's about 5 high school friends who go on a camping trip in the forest and they stumble upon a staircase in the forest. One of them decides to go up the staircase, and when they do, the staircase vanishes for 20 years. And then later it reappears, and the friends have to decide what the heck happened to their friend and whether or not they're gonna attempt to go up this staircase. I mean, doesn't that sound creepy? It sounds so good. So I am just like, I need to read this book. It's coming out next year. I cannot wait. The next book coming out in 2025 is Son of a Serial Killer by Andrew Adams. That one is coming out May 13th. That one is also another one where I've never heard of the author, but the synopsis looks really good and it was promoted on Instagram and I was like, I need to get this. It's about a data clerk named Glenn Overton who realizes that he is the son of a serial killer. And when the public finds out he's the son of a famous serial killer, he faces adoration from his dad's fans, serial killer fans, but he also faces some hostility from the people who, of course, were killed, their families, by this serial killer. So the book kind of revolves around his struggle to embrace his identity and whether or not he's going to try and escape this dark past or embrace it. So this one looks good. The next horror thriller coming out in 2025 on May 27th is Never Flinch by the one and only Stephen King. In Stephen King's new book, a detective named Izzy Janes has to grapple with a threat of a mass murder that she received. Basically, she receives a letter that says that 13 people are gonna die, one of them is guilty and the rest are innocent. So the detective has no idea what's going on here. She asks her friend Holly for help, but Holly is also acting as a bodyguard for another woman who is going on a multi-state lecture tour for women's rights, women's empowerment. And the storylines kind of collide because the woman who's going on this tour actually is receiving threats, and it seems like Holly's trying to protect her from some adversary, but I think that adversary is the same one who is threatening Detective Izzy Janes. So it sounds pretty interesting. I haven't read so much King lately. I used to read him a lot more back in the day, but I'm always really excited when he comes out with a new book, and this one definitely sounds suspenseful, so that one's coming out May 27th. Oh my gosh, I am so excited about this next one. This next one is called With a Vengeance by Riley Sager, and it is coming out June 10th, 2025. I have not read Riley Sager yet. I know. I just bought one of his books and I hear nothing but good things, and I think the one I have is the only one left. And I'm going to read that definitely within the next month or two. He is on my list. I really need to read him, and I keep hearing nothing but good things. And that is why he's on this list, because I'm so excited that he's coming out with another book. I just need to read everything by him. So let's hope that I do. So this thriller, With a Vengeance, takes place on a non-stop luxury train in 1954, where a woman is seeking vengeance on people who destroyed her family. But when a passenger on that train is murdered, it's pretty clear that someone else is out for revenge as well. So the main character, Anna, has to basically stop this killer while probably also trying to find the people who destroyed her family. I feel like it's gonna be suspenseful. I feel like having something on a train is very different. I mean, it's happened in movies, but I feel like it has this element of like being boxed in and no escape and anything could happen, and I'm really excited for this one. So yay, Riley Sager. This next thriller coming out in June is by S.A. Cosby, and it is called King of Ashes. Oh my gosh, I read Razorblade Tears for the first time this year, and it was so good, and I am thrilled that S.A. Cosby is coming out with a new book in June. This one is coming out June 10th, 2025, and I need to pre-order it. I mean, I have heard so much good stuff about S.A. Cosby. I need to get more of his books. I already need to read All the Sinners Bleed was the next one that I wanted to read. And so now that he's coming out with this one, I just need to instantly pre-order it. So in this book, main character Roman Carruthers, he returns to his family, and his family is in chaos. He's got one brother who is like in debt to these dangerous criminals. His father's in a coma, and his sister is trying to keep the family business alive. Come to find out that the father's accident, I'm guessing the accident that put him in a coma, it was not an accident. And it's kind of like a Godfather-esque Southern crime saga. So of course, Roman steps in to help his brother, but he ends up dealing with a bunch of dangerous crime guys and hopefully save the day. So if this one is anything like the S.A. Cosby book, Razorblade Tears, that I've already read, I think it's gonna be great. So I'm really excited. I have been wanting to get back into S.A. Cosby's writing, and I cannot wait for this one. Up next, we have a thriller by Lisa Jewell. Lisa Jewell fans unite. Lisa Jewell is coming out with a new book on June 24th, 2025. Write it in your calendars, June 24th. It's called Don't Let Him In. I personally am ashamed to admit that I have not read any Lisa Jewell, but I own Lisa Jewell, and I intend to read her ASAP. So in Don't Let Him In, a restaurateur named Patty Smith dies, and his wife Nina and her daughter receive a mysterious package from their friend, or from Patty's friend, Nick, which we find out basically sparks some unsettling bond between Nina and Nick. Meanwhile, we have another person in the story, a florist named Martha, who is struggling with her husband's frequent absences and her family's finances. Eventually, Martha's life and Nina's life and her daughter, their lives collide, revealing that the men in this story, Nick and Martha's husband, Al, are harboring some dangerous secrets. So we are all very interested in learning what these dangerous secrets are. And I am just so excited because Lisa Jewell is someone that I have heard about nonstop, and I really need to read her books. So I'm really excited she's coming out with a new one in June of 2025. The next book coming out in 2025 is by Clemence Michelon, who wrote The Quiet Tenant, which I loved. And I found out that The Quiet Tenant was her first book. So the fact that I had just finished her first book and her second one is coming out, I'm very excited. So Clemence's second book is coming out on July 8th, 2025, and it is called Our Last Resort. This thriller follows estranged siblings Frida and Gabriel as they reunite at a luxury resort. The goal of this reunion is to mend their bond, but of course that gets ruined when a woman is murdered at the resort. And of course the resort then goes into lockdown, and we learn that these siblings used to be part of a cult. Memories of Just Like Mother come crawling back. And of course, so these dark memories of being in a cult are resurfacing throughout this lockdown, and we don't know what's gonna happen, but if it's anything like Just Like Mother, we know that the cult is gonna come back to haunt them in some weird ways. And I am really excited to see how Clemence does this in her book. Like I said, I really love the quiet tenant. So if she's in some lockdown situation and there's some weird cult stuff happening, I am here for it. So July 8th cannot come soon enough. This will be an instant buy for me. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this next book coming out in 2025 by Lisa Scottolini called The Unraveling of Julia. This thriller is coming out July 15th, 2025, and I loved Lisa Scottolini's What Happened to the Bennets. I want to say that was like one of my favorite books of 2024. So the fact that she has a new book coming out, I really need to read it. Also, did you know that Lisa Scottolini has like 30 plus books out? That could be an exaggeration, but she's got a lot, because when I looked her up and all the books that she's written so many. She's been around forever. So I definitely could read a bunch of those in the meantime, but I'm excited about this new one. So The Unraveling of Julia is about a woman named Julia whose horoscope predicts her husband's murder. So once she realizes that her horoscope has predicted her husband's murder, she kind of feels like her destiny is not hers, and that someone else is basically making the rules in her life, and she has no control at all anymore. Then one day, out of the blue, she receives a letter from a woman named Amelia Rossi, letting her know that she has inherited a Tuscan villa. This person is a total stranger, but apparently she is part of Julia's lineage, so of course she's like, okay, great, let me go inherit this villa and figure some stuff out. Then she realizes that this person, Amelia Rossi, was actually like some paranoid recluse who had these delusions of grandeur about her lineage, thinking she was like a part of some Renaissance nobility. But then Julia starts noticing resemblances between her and Amelia Rossi, and also the woman that Amelia Rossi thinks that she is, or thinks that she is related to. But then of course all kinds of weird stuff happens. She meets a man, of course, but then all kinds of other weird stuff happens, and I think we're gonna be taken on a journey with this one, just like what happened to the Bennets. And if that is the case, I am here for it, because I really, really loved what happened to the Bennets. And this one actually sounds really eerie, just the beginning of it, like the fact that she was so hardcore into astrology that her horoscope predicted her husband's death. Like, that sounds really interesting, and I'm excited to see how that unfolds. So that one comes out July 15th, 2025. Mark your calendars. Up next on August 26th, 2025, which so happens to be my birthday, Stacey Willingham's book comes out called Forget Me Not. I have not read any Stacey Willingham, but she's another author that I follow on Instagram, and she posted behind the scenes of her writing her book, getting it edited and getting it published, and I just thought that was so cool, and it made me kind of like want to read her. And she has a few other books out, and this new one is coming out, and I'm really excited. It's about an investigative journalist named Claire who returns to her hometown decades after her sister disappeared a long time ago. And of course, like most investigative journalists who have lost their sister, they're just hoping for a fresh start. But then she takes this job at a vineyard, and she uncovers this diary that relates to a bunch of unsolved crimes. And she realizes that maybe her sister's crime is unsolved too, and maybe it's related to some of these unsolved crimes. So this seems like a thriller that is going to be really good. So I'm really excited about this. And I might have to read a Stacey Willingham book before this one just to get a feel for the writing and the types of stories that she puts out there. But I'm really excited about this. I really like following her on Instagram. The next book coming out in 2025 is Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. This one comes out on September 9th, 2025. So we are entering the fall, and Rachel Harrison is another author that I love following on Instagram. I have heard of her books. She wrote Such Sharp Teeth and I have not read them, but she's another one that's been on my TBR forever, and I feel like she does a lot of horror, thriller, paranormal stuff, and I really want to read more of her. So that's why I'm including her on this list. I need to keep track of her. So Play Nice is about a woman named Cleo who is a influencer, and she inherits this home that apparently is possessed by a demon. But of course, her being a stylist and influencer, she wants to flip the house and use that for content. But of course, when she starts renovating the house, all kinds of creepy stuff starts happening. And now she has to confront this haunting past that she has been trying to escape. So I'm really, really excited about this. Anything with a demon possessing anything sounds good. I actually just got something like that for Christmas, a book called The Exorcist House, but more on that later. So yeah, this one looks really good. Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, coming out September 9th, 2025. So this next book coming out in October of 2025, I don't even know the title. I just know that it's coming out October 14th, 2025, and it is written by Reese, Witherspoon, and Harlan, Coben. So this year in October, they put out a statement saying that they were writing a book together, and it's coming out October 14th. So as of this video, we clearly don't have the title of the book yet, but keep your eyes peeled for a book by Reese Witherspoon, a thriller, no less, coming out in October of 2025. I'm really excited for that one. Also, another book coming out in 2025 that I have heard about, but that I don't know the title of or any information on. It's a sequel to The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. So I've heard that a sequel to that book is coming out in 2025. I don't know when. I feel like they said it was the fall, but I don't know when that was coming out. But keep your eyes peeled for that one. If you liked The Last Thing He Told Me, or if you are a Laura Dave fan, that one is coming out next year. But yeah, so that's a wrap. Those are all the books that are coming out in 2025. I am so excited because a lot of these authors are just ones that I haven't had a chance to read, but that I hear about all the time. So I'm really excited that they have new books coming out, and let me know which books you are most looking forward to. And let me know if you have already read the arcs of these books, because I know some people have. Sometimes that's how I hear about them, because people are kind of sharing the arcs on Instagram. So let me know what you think, and if there's any books that are coming out in 2025 that I didn't mention, let me know so I can add them to my own TBR. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the year, a restful holiday, and like and subscribe if you like this content, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.